Hi guys, welcome to the Citizen channel. I hope you're all staying safe and well. Please, if you are new to this channel, please push that subscribe button. We do everything city, past and present here on these little vlogs, so I do try and inform and entertain, and there's some links on screen as well for Facebook and Twitter where I do post loads of city stuff. So if you follow a friend me on there, I do check every few days and follow and friend everyone back. And if you do get a chance, please have a check out my film and TV channel as well, which I try and inform and entertain on there, and all the latest films and TV drama here in the UK and from around the world. So if you can check that out, that will be fantastic. Anyway, hope you enjoy today's feature. Right, today on the Citizen channel we have another episode of The Streets Around Maine Road. Yes, as you know, if you've tuned into any of my previous ones, please check them out if you haven't done so. They're all on the playlist. In 1977, the Manchester City Council, very wise guys there, very wise and clever at the Manchester City Council, named a number of streets in a new estate in Moss Side after famous City players, of course. We've looked so far at legends including Fred Tilson, Billy Meredith, Tommy Johnson, Sammy Cookson, and yes, old big Frank Swift. We've looked at all those guys, and today we look at a great friend of a player we have featured, Fred Tilson. I just mentioned him there. And this guy we're going to look at today obviously had a close named after him. The postcode for that close is M144EJ, and it is, of course, wonderful, fantastic goal-scoring machine, Eric Brook. Yes, Eric himself, as a Yorkshire lad, was born near Rotherham in a place called Mexborough on the 27th of November 1907. So even I wasn't around then, guys, so don't start. Growing up, as most lads in those days, I mean, his future was probably going to be the pits. I mean, that was obviously the sort of work then in those days. But he did play cricket on a regular basis as he was growing up, and obviously football as well. But it was while he was playing football, of course, that he came to the awareness of second division Barnsley at the time, obviously a local team. So at the age of 18, he was signed by Barnsley. So obviously he had an option of escaping the old pit life, didn't he? Despite he was only small, he was only 5'6" tall. He was a tough little player. And after 2 years with Barnsley, he was signed by us, of course. We were also in the second division at the time. City signed him on the 16th of March 1928 alongside his bestie mate, Fred Tilson, who we've talked about before. And they made their debut on the very next day in a 2-0 win at home to Grimsby Town in front of 49,185. This is the second division, don't forget. But hey, we've got no fans, we've got no history, have we? 49,185 fans at Maine Road. There'd been a possibility, actually. United had lined them up, and it looked as though they might go over to Old Trafford. But unfortunately, the poor old rags over there couldn't raise the money. Yes, they're a bit skint at the time, so they couldn't raise the 6,000, which was needed to sign both Tilson and Eric Brook. There was no statement as to who was worth what. Were they both £3,000 each, or was one 4 and one 2? Was one 5? Was one 1, or was one buy one get one free? There's nothing like that, so we've no idea the actual worth they put on both these guys. But obviously they both came across the City, and that's obviously where as best friends. Obviously it carried on from there, of course. Eric Brook would wear the number 11 shirt, of course, which was the familiar in those days up to my young days, the recognised outside left position. And he would wear this but for a couple of City appearances throughout his career. He was there a long time, about 12 seasons, I think, at City before war broke out. And obviously he would wear the number 11 almost continuously. And not missed many games either. He had an appendicitis problem at one stage, which kept him out for 2 or 3 games. But he very rarely missed many games. He was almost never present every season. There were the odd games he missed, of course. His first goal for City, he was a prolific scorer in the end, would come against Orient, Clapham Orient, I think they were called. I mean, obviously we know them better as Leighton Orient now. But on the last day of March of that season that he joined in a 5-3 win at Maine Road in front of a slightly smaller crowd, in front of 38,272. And City, of course, with Eric, and ever present then, would go on to lift the second division title. Yeah, once he played that season, although his mate Tilson didn't play all the games, Eric Brook certainly did. And of course, we would go on to lift the second division title that season, get back into the first division. I mean, though wearing this number 11, a traditional left winger's position, he would be a player who wouldn't stick to it. Someone remarked that the left wing position was a position he just sort of visited from time to time, which was unusual in those days. Obviously, if you're a right winger or a left winger, you sort of stuck out there. But he liked to come inside, he liked to play in the centre forward position and stuff like this. A number 10 position, if you like, an inside left as well. He liked to sort of roam around, and this is where his skill came in, because obviously the defenders in those days didn't quite expect that. They expect your wingers to stay on the wing, but obviously it was something he never did. And tactically, as far as the managers are concerned, he served under, they were happy for him to do that. So there you go. His performance, of course, for City would earn him his first call up for England in October 1929. But he didn't have a great game, unfortunately. And obviously, I have no idea. I'm sorry, I don't know who was in charge of England at the time. But obviously, he wasn't sort of considered again until 1933. Yeah, May 1933 for his second cap. And he actually made a few more appearances then at that stage. In total, he would make 18 full England appearances. He did play for the English Football League team as well, but he'd make 18 full appearances at international level and score 10 goals. So that wasn't a bad return, was it, from that sort of many games? Of course, he would win an FA Cup final, FA Cup winners' medal with City in 1934, after, of course, collecting a losers' medal the previous season in 1933. The 1933 one, just as a matter of interest, he didn't wear number 11 because it was the very first time he trialled numbers 1 to 22, and Everton, who were playing, were 1 to 11, and of course City were 12 to 22. So the outside left wore the number 12 shirt. So he actually wore the number 12 shirt in the 1933 FA Cup final, which we lost 3-0, unfortunately, to Everton. And of course, the 1934 FA Cup final, which we of course we won, Eric scored City's one and only winning goal in the famous 1-0 quarter-final at Maine Road over Stoke City, which obviously is famous for the crowd, isn't it? It's famous for the 84,569 crowd that were there that day. And it was a superb goal, although if you talk to Stoke fans, he said it was a cross that turned into a goal. If you talk to City fans, they say it was a wonderful goal from out on the wing. So depending who you think. I think most journalists credited it as being a wonder goal, but yeah, not 100%. So yeah, I'm sure at the time, if asked, Mr. Brook would claim it was obviously deliberate. It wasn't a cross that went in, it was a cracking goal. And obviously, as far as City fans in that 84,569 crowd were concerned, it certainly was a fantastic goal. And despite his size, yeah, I mean, obviously, you don't forget Frank Swift was our main goalie while Eric was playing for City. And obviously, every time there was an injury to Frank Swift, which wasn't often, obviously, but he would love to go in goal. He went in goal for City, and he was 8 inches smaller and a stone and a half lighter, but he loved being the standing keeper, so he couldn't get much difference, really, could you? A 5'6" goalkeeper, but apparently he thrived on it and loved going in net when Frank ever picked up an injury. Eric was City's top scorer. As I say, he was a winger, he wasn't, as I say, but he was our top scorer in 1931 and 1936. And in the 36-37 season, of course, he picked up a league title winners' medal with City as we won the league title that season. And he actually played every game that season. Although he wasn't the top scorer, he was only beaten for goals by the legend Doherty, Peter Doherty, if you remember, who outscored him that season. But so that was 1936-37 when he lifted the title. Of course, inexplicably, City were relegated the following season. And of course, season 37-30, despite scoring 100 goals, and again, he was on the score sheet for lots of those goals. Just typical City, we were relegated the following season. And by season 39-40, of course, obviously we had the troubles over in Europe, didn't he? And war broke out. I think we managed 3 league games that season, and he would play his final game, first class game, first team game for City on the 2nd of September 1939. Sadly, not long later, he would be on England duty. Obviously, the England team had some wartime internationals, and he actually was in a car crash. And actually, this fractured his skull, so not only ended his playing for England, but obviously he was warned about playing football in general. So that sort of ended his career anyway. So there was never any chance of him coming back into it after the war, if you like, and say, because a lot of these players used to play well into the late 30s, perhaps even into the 40s. But obviously that fractured skull in a car crash put an end to any hopes of that. He sadly passed away on the 31st of March 1965 in Wythenshawe. Yeah, he came back to Wythenshawe. He went over to Yorkshire, but he eventually came back to work at Metrovix in Manchester. And he died at only 57 years old, at home in Wythenshawe. On the 31st of March 1965. So his City career spanned between 1928 and 1939. He made a total, this is according to the stat books, I have seen slightly different stats to this, but he made 491 appearances, scoring 177 goals. Unbelievable stats for a number 11, if you like. He was inducted, of course, into the Manchester City Hall of Fame in 2004. And in 2018, Eric Brook was honoured with a plaque in his hometown of Mexborough. The old blue plaque. The plaque was unveiled at Mexborough Athletic Club in May 2018. So there you go. Thanks for joining me for this look. It's an incredible player by anyone's judgment. Eric Brook, not just another number 11, was he? Is regarded as one of the finest players to have graced the English game, Eric Brook. So please join me next time, and we'll look at another City legend from around the streets of Maine Road. Thanks for watching. If you're going to do rest day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More important, let's all look after each other. So meet here again on the Citizen channel. Please, if you want to have a quick look at my film and TV channel, have a look at the stuff on there. That'd be much appreciated. But until we meet again, please, all I ever ask is please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.